What's going on, guys? Real quick intro before we get to the podcast. Wait, what's that? Yes, I have a podcast channel that I started. It's been going really well. We have rotating guests, about an hour-long show, give or take, audio only. But I do put gameplay in the background in case you want to look at something. And I'm posting it on here just so I can reintroduce people who haven't noticed it before over there. And also, I've got a bunch of subscribers, obviously, due to the Thunderstruck Gaming video. Clash of the Commentators failure, oh god, and we're going to be talking about that in the podcast today. So, crack open the description. First, you're going to see all of the guests of today's show. Please subscribe to them, their Twitters, hit them up, give them a big thank you, obviously, for being on the show, putting on a good performance for us today. And then scroll down, you find the Lag Comp podcast, go on over there, hit up those videos, they're all good as well. And also linked in the description is my second channel. My podcast and my second channel are always linked in my descriptions in case you forget and want to go over there in the future. But without further ado, please enjoy the podcast. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Lag Comp podcast, debating Clash of the Uninspirational Generic Commentators 13. Time to discuss it. I brought three lovely gentlemen here to debate this with me. First of which, going down the line of the Skype call, Trent, trademark. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Been on the podcast before, won a Jeep. He's a badass, and he's here to tell me why I'm completely wrong about everything I say. Mother Jug Speed, how's it going, dude?
What's up, motherfucker?
Makes YouTube content of his own. Chill guy. Hates Black Ops 2. Obviously, he's wrong. The Schwantz.
Yo, what the fuck is up, people?
The funniest shoutcaster in the world.
Self-proclaimed.
Hey, I like the self-proclaimed thing. Has a good ring to it. I might use that myself.
Somebody's got to proclaim it.
If you believe it, then somebody else will too.
Yeah. If you shout it, they might listen.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the deal. I don't know if you guys know, but there's this event called Clash of the Commentators. And I'm a little upset about the winners of it.
Well, nobody's won yet. It's just the atrocious eight, as I would like to call it, the 8 finalists. Jesus fucking Christ! It's like visual Ambien trying to watch those videos. They are horrible.
I don't know about that because
I know you said
I've seen people
on
Ambien, and they seem to enjoy themselves a whole lot more than I did watching those fucking videos.
I'm sorry, I'm not a recreational drug user.
Can someone tell me, was it on their site that they said thousands of people submitted videos?
No, I heard that somewhere. Oh. They at least said hundreds. So hundreds, maybe 1,000, whatever. 1,000 people, thousands of people knew about it at least, right?
Yeah. I could see 1,000 people submitting.
Maybe that's an exaggeration. So I apologize for that. If you want exact
I'm just
information,
wondering,
I'm not the guy
the
for
percentage, how many people actually got picked out of their pool.
I mean, for me personally, a lot of my timeline on YouTube the past 2 days have been my fellow commentators' submissions for the Clash of the Commentators, and every single one of them has been better than the 8 finalists, without hands down.
And that's the thing. I haven't seen.
Yeah, but those are people you're subscribed to. Of course, you're going to prefer content of people that you're familiar with, and people that you've been subbed to for a long time. I guess what I was saying to Frito earlier is it's a lot harder to judge an entire channel just upon one quick 3-minute video. If that's all you have to judge a commentator by, it may not be purely accurate to what their entire channel is about or what they are about as a commentator.
That's really true.
100% accurate, but I mean, you get a gist of their personality, because if you can't come across in a 3-minute video about your personality or the way you are on your channel, then there's something wrong, because you shouldn't be submitting a video, because it's not too hard to come across in 3 minutes, just your tone, you know what I'm saying, your style
would saying
come
that
across.
When Swans is saying, he liked, all of his subscribers' submissions, I'm saying
I
that
understand
judges that have never seen a certain person's video, they're not going to get the same understanding of that content.
I agree and disagree, because for me, it's just they are extremely boring. And even if I didn't like I didn't like topics that some of the people presented that were my buddies, but at least I didn't fall asleep listening to them. And that to me was the biggest thing, is that they are just totally boring. Totally boring.
I can see that, because not all the time am I going to watch somebody that I normally watch, and am I going to agree with what they're talking about or give two shits about it. But sometimes if they're entertaining enough, I can sit through at least half the video or the whole video, depending on how long the video is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, me and Frito don't see eye to eye on a lot of issues regarding Black Ops 2, but I still enjoy his content because it's entertaining.
I don't
And
think
I
anybody sees eye to eye with Freedom.
There's very few people that always see eye to eye.
Very true. Very true.
I think about just everybody who's on the opposite end of the fucking spectrum from Frito on Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm just saying.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm just saying, man.
I invite you guys over to my place, and you just trash it, dude. You don't even put coasters down. You just put the beer cans right on the fucking table.
Yeah,
the
our feet are
running.
up on your coffee table right now.
Yeah,
muddy shoes and all.
Couch.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy at your party that's having sex in your bed when you don't know it.
Fuck that. You probably told me and shit. You just straight up said, like, "Hey, Frito, I'm fucking your wife on the couch."
Yeah. I mean, I would take it to your bed. I wouldn't do it on the couch in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's a little bit of class. Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate
a little
that.
bit of class, man. Give me a credit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as far as these top 8 go, though, does it seem like the rubric or the settings, the standard they have, is stale and boring? Is that the conclusion we're getting, or what?
It's hard for me to say, because to me personally, now I may be a little biased, is that it seems like a lot of the bigger YouTubers, and I say a lot, don't mean everybody, but the majority of them seem stale and brick. Like, it's like they've lost the drive for the game or anything. So it's hard to commentate over something when you don't have any drive to commentate over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have that drive for something, then it's easy to come across as exciting. And so it seems like that's where you see a lot of these kids, and I say kids, newer YouTubers or younger guys that are just starting up. That's the way they think they need to go, because that's the way they see everybody else going. At this point now, as far as the COD community has come on YouTube, everybody finds that person they like to watch, and they want to imitate them, whether they think so or not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to imitate somebody that they think is just doing an unbelievable job. And to me, the majority of the people you see on YouTube are stale. Like, honestly, there's very few that aren't. And I like watching those people, but the stale
like
people.
The top 8. It's as if they chose random. Like, this is the way I felt with the top 8. It's as if you go on somebody's random channel, like someone leaves a dumb comment, like "check out my channel" or something like that on somebody's video. It's one of those types of commentators that it's just the most average, run of the mill, like a dime a dozen type videos. That's what it's felt to me.
Nobody will read this, but just give me a chance. I swear I'm different than everybody else.
I'm not spamming you, and you have the greatest videos ever, but please check out my video.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree here with Mother Jug Speed about a lot of bigger YouTubers. I think that they are definitely entertaining. However, you have to entertain in certain ways. And for me, the top 8 people just didn't grab me, are not inspiring at all. And for me, for my personal channel, I'm more of an entertainer type person. But then again, whenever I post on like community channels and stuff, it's either a people love me or people hate me. There's not really an in-between kind of thing. And maybe perhaps with this top 8, they were just saying, you're gonna not hate all of these guys, but you may not love all of these guys, which
really maybe true. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for that medium on this channel for this top 8, is because they wanted everybody to be equal. So they based it off that, not well, these 2 or 3 guys are just heads and tails above everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just so far gone, they're blowing everybody out of the water, and the rest of the 5 contestants or whatever aren't really going to do shit, but we're going to give them a shot. No, it seems like they kind of went with everybody was kind of on equal ground. Because if you look at all of them, as a whole, they're the majority of them, except for maybe 1 or 2, and that's a big maybe. And that's, to me, it shouldn't be like that in that kind of competition. But it seems like that's the way they went, was let's get a bunch of mediocre people and see who dukes it out.
Battle of the snooze fest. Whoever can fall asleep first.
There's a few of them that are decent sized channels. I think like a little over 10,000, right? Like, I mean, if you have 10,000 subscribers, you must be doing
something
right on YouTube.
Yeah.
You have to be. There's no way you can get 10,000 people to click a button unless you're botting or something. You have to have some semblance or idea of how to do YouTube. So, I mean, in that sense, I would say, yeah, there are some competent people that are in the competition. Um, I just don't. I talked to Frito about this because I don't see why you would put in purposely shoot for just mediocre people in a contest. Like if you want this diamond in the rough is what Chaos Silencer made his commentary about. If you're trying to find that diamond in the rough, the person that once this competition is done continues to actually grow just based upon their content, I don't see why you would purposely shoot for those mediocre people.
That are just the people that were in charge of looking at the videos. Their standards are a whole lot different than ours. They love watching people that have very mediocre monotone voices.
Yeah,
like
no,
do
exactly.
you really think so though? I can't see that. Looking at a case study of
how can you see that? To Trademark's part, like how can you see a bunch of people? I don't know how many judges they had, but how can you see that number of people, even if it's 2, looking at all those and going, they're all right. We're gonna put them in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want this competition to be something that's gonna blow up, you want at least to be picking some people that are gonna help you blow it up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want people that are going to be shit, because the minute they click on it, or the majority of people that are going to click on it, they're going to be like, oh my god, what the fuck are they picking? I'm not going to go off their opinion. You know what I'm saying?
How are these the top 8 out of thousands?
Yeah,
I think that's what most people have
or
an issue with.
Whatever, but yeah,
they need to be more clear. They needed to be more clear, honestly, about the contest in general. First of all, how these 8 were selected. Was it just those 4 YouTubers that they said that picked these top 8? Or how exactly that it went about, I'm not exactly sure, but I highly doubt that those 4 YouTubers, just based upon most big YouTubers, they're always like complaining about time. Oh, I have no time to do this. I'm so busy. Blah blah blah. I highly doubt that they took the time to watch thousands of submissions.
No,
even if they're only 3 minutes long. So
not even.
I can't see that happening. I just can't see these 4 guys.
They watched maybe the first minute. I would almost bet it. They watched the first minute of the video.
Either that, or they were just given a smaller percentage. Like someone probably pre-screened these and just got the complete crap out of the way, right? Like things that they're formatted in like 360p, and they're recording their television with a cell phone camera, stuff like that. They probably just instantly pre-screened those and just knocked them out.
And then because that one guy didn't even have his volume up high enough to hear him.
So I was about to say that.
I mean, I respect other people's, interest for what is entertaining or not on YouTube. I mean, for me, there's always been, even the debate now amongst like, is pub stomping boring, yada, 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 which you guys already went over on a previous podcast. Some people like it, some people hate it. However, you have to think about the fact that these 8 guys that made it, somebody has an interest in them for some reason, and to me, I just don't know what the reason is. I can't see it. They don't have great commentating voice. They don't have entertaining content. Their gameplays didn't blow me out of the water. It's just I don't understand it at all.
And that was and I saw this before it was up, and I saw everybody talking about it. Hey, should I put a video in? And I was thinking about it, me personally, because I'm the smallest probably out of everybody here, and
that's
me personally. Yeah, that's exactly what she said.
But got him back from before.
Asshole. It's understandable though. But me personally, I was thinking about it, and I was like, because I knew people that were putting one in, and I knew I was better than them. I know I can speak in front of a crowd of 100 easily without stuttering over my fucking feet. And so I know I can do a comm, and I know I can put up good gameplay. But why submit something to somebody that I don't know who the judge is? You know what I'm saying? I don't know the number of judges, and I don't know exactly how it's going to be based on. So what's the point? You're going to get your hopes up. And I feel vindicated for not doing it when I saw the final 8. It made me feel a whole lot better about not putting one in.
Well, I don't mind because I like getting mad about stuff. So I'm perfectly fine with getting out the whole experience of it. It's a journey, you know. Like I enjoyed making the video, then I was outraged for hours looking at the winners,
Yep.
and then artistic expert, like boom, right there, wonderful 6 minute video for me to ramble on about that. But here's a question though. We're talking about the judges and stuff, and I have to assume there's bigger forces at play beyond the 4 judges looking at these videos. Trademark's 110% right. There's people with brands on the line here that are sponsoring this event, and the fact that all these videos seem sterilized and politically correct to the max, it just seems fishy. But
oh well,
Yeah.
I mean, I even read that though. Like after I talked to you, I read in the guidelines. Like let me bring this up. It says exactly that. It says we're seeking personalities that can be funny without being filthy, commentators that can be instructive without being boring, and above all else, YouTubers that are entertaining. And then it also says that they can like disqualify you for any reason. So basically, all that's saying in their like guidelines, rules, etc., is that yeah, they do have a brand on the line, and they're not going to put their limbs out there for even if you're very entertaining, if you're, someone that might be a risk for their company or shine a bad light on their product, yeah, absolutely. They're going to screen those out.
Yeah, sorry, Fredo, but that's you to a T.
Well, I mean that's me as well. That's most of us here.
I think it's a lot of people. In fact, I think if you look at a lot of the submissions, if you ever say something detrimental about, YouTube or the, whatever you're looking at.
You mean you have your own opinion?
Yes, if you're not a sheep. Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean,
I agree. I agree 100%. That's probably part of it, and I would be very interested to know how many of those people that made the top 8 were already sponsored by somebody that was a part of this competition.
Yeah, Trademark. You just brought with the guidelines. You just brought up a great point, and I think that sums up, I guess, how the finalists were chosen. They were vanilla on purpose because this way they don't have to cover their ass, when I say something nasty or somebody else says something nasty in one of the commentaries. I didn't enter this particular contest, but I did enter a smaller YouTuber kind of showdown contest, and I made it to the semifinals, and my video I thought was leaps and bounds better than the person I was up against. However, the person I was up against also had 7 or 8 times more subscribers than I did, and I only lost by like a handful of votes. So I think even if some of the smaller channels go on and make it, I think you still are kind of impeded by the fact that this is still based on tallies and votes of mass amounts of people. I think that that's still something that hasn't been brought up yet that we could probably talk about now is the voting system, and it's going to be just a popularity contest instead of an actual judging, if you will.
Anything I've seen so far on YouTube that is a community challenge or, you can post this video here and we're going to choose the winner, it's all a popularity contest. That's what YouTube is. It's basically taking a bunch of grown men, for the majority, or the smaller amount of us, I should say, because the majority of them, I assume, are kids. And it's reverting us back to high school, and it's all a popularity contest about who can get the most clicks of, oh, I like that video. And that's what I've seen on a lot of these these community channels for these challenges and shit like that. That's the way they all seem to be. Like it makes me very disinterested to ever put a video up for something like that because I'm a smaller channel. What's the point if you know you're going to lose? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to enter some sort of a contest like this to get actual constructive criticism. And I know it doesn't happen all the time. I know sometimes people are like, your vids suck, or whatever. But sometimes you do get that constructive criticism and it's actually helpful. But the problem with this particular contest is that not only did the entries that didn't make the top 8 not get constructive criticism, or at least, I don't know, maybe you guys got an email about why your video wasn't chosen or whatever. No, right?
Yeah, I doubt it.
But there's just nothing to gain with doing something like this in particular.
They'd have to watch all the video to give constructive criticism.
That's yeah.
I mean, even if there is hundreds of videos, I don't see somebody watching hundreds of videos.
Yeah, I mean, I I consider myself being on YouTube a lot. I listen or watch about 40 or so videos a day while I'm at work. Instead of listening to music or a podcast, I will queue up a bunch of videos to my watch later queue, and then I'll listen to them at work. And if I hear something, I'll stop the video, write a comment, and then go on my merry way. And, that takes 8 hours a day to watch 40 or 50 videos. There's no way that these guys could have watched the number of submissions in the time that they were allotted. You know what I mean? It's by numbers, it's just not possible.
No, not if they're as busy as they always say they fucking are.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. Obviously, things got cut out. So are people getting, cut out of this event based on who you are as a commentator as far as your channel? Like, you see my name, you're like, oh, that fucking asshole is probably going to end up saying something bad about us eventually, so just cut him out? Or is it just based on the commentary itself? Because a lot of people made fairly PG videos that aren't up there now. They didn't get counted.
And see, that depends on who the judge is, because if you knew that and they knew you and knew what type of commentator you were or type of person you were, and they didn't agree with something you had said in the past, I could see that easily being, nah, he's out. Like, not even bother watching the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody knows me and knows the way I like to talk, but there's no way I would make it past.
Like T. Martin wouldn't have voted for me.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't have voted for me either. He blocked me on Twitter because I said something one time, which, to be fair, I was being a douchebag, but I was telling the truth. So that's what happens sometimes when you don't be a pussy, when you speak your mind. And that's really what YouTube is supposed to be about, is speaking your mind and, engaging with the audience and being like, here's my stance on it. I want your guys' opinions, because the only way that you're going to be able to grow as a person is to, take ideas from both sides of the table and learn about it. But unfortunately, if you have to be molded into this, I guess, quote unquote, corporate commentator, there's no room for that sort of nonsense in it. And perhaps, Frito just got automatically disqualified by the fact that, his commentaries can be controversial sometimes.
Here's the problem, though. I have a huge problem with this entire theory we're doing. Because even if we whittle it down to the most politically correct guys on the planet, I still don't see any way where some of these final 8, the atrocious 8, as Schwantz like to call it, I don't see any way some of these could make it through. Like, let me give you some examples. Like, T. Martin, you might hate him, but he puts on a fucking show for 3 to 5 minutes, okay? I cannot stand the sound of his voice sometimes. But
sometimes?
To his fine all the time, whatever. Fuck you, T. Martin. I don't like your videos, all right? I'm sure you're a cool guy, whatever. But the point is, he's doing it to his demographic, right?
Yes,
and he's doing it well.
He presents it very well.
Absolutely. You don't say he makes bad videos. You say he makes videos you can't stand. There's a difference. Yes. I don't like Twilight. Oh, that's a bad example. That's just terrible. What's a good example? I don't like The Man of Steel, but some people do for whatever reason because they don't know what they're talking about.
Amen.
Or like the same thing with the other commentators as well. Midnight is more of a straight up commentator. She just talks about her life and whatever. She knows how to speak well. Chaos Silencer does kind of in between tips and tricks and her types of stuff, random talks. And Jericho is the performer of the 4, I would say. Right. Why we don't have any none of the top 8 are even close to scratching the surface towards what those 4 have. You know what I mean?
No,
They're not even close.
Yeah, they don't even sniff their underwear or whatever.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, do you think perhaps maybe that if they found a commentator that was as good or if not better than some of the judges, that would look bad on the judges as well?
That's a good question.
I would like to say no, but
I would like to say no as well, honestly.
Some of the shit that I've seen on here so far, I wouldn't doubt it. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past anybody until I meet them in person and can judge them the way they are. No, I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Personally, dude, if I'm that size of a channel, I'm not afraid of anybody, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't be either.
If I'm T. Martin, I don't care if some guy's making a tips and tricks video. I'm fucking T. Martin. Like, I'm super excited all the time. Who else can do that? Nobody.
Well,
every 14-year-old.
I do snort a line of coke before every commentary I do, but that's neither here nor there.
You did that before you commentated.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no. If I'm a channel that size, I wouldn't think you'd be worried about competition. But then again, there's always those scam people out there that I'm not going to name any names, although you're probably going to figure out who I'm talking about by my example. They, guys who have community channels that post, have other smaller YouTubers post their content to the smaller community channel, and then the bigger channel goes, oh shit, that's a good idea, I'm going to do that too. And then all of a sudden the bigger channel does that idea, and then the smaller channel goes, hey, you copied off of this bigger channel, when really it was the other way around. When money's on the line, nothing surprises me, and I think
No.
that's my mantra for YouTube.
A lot of these people have a mask on all the time. They're not. Especially, I'm more wary of the ones that do YouTube full time as a full time job. Like that's their thing. That's their bread and butter. You got to think a lot of these people, they have kids, they have families. Like they'll do whatever it takes to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? And to an extent, I don't blame them, but that just makes me wary of all of them because they're gonna do whatever it fucking takes. And
but they're making a lot more than what's required to pay the bill.
But still, I mean, I'm just saying, when it comes to that's their only source of income, that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna hold back. You know what I'm saying? If it's in the real life and somebody's trying to stop me from doing my job, you better believe I'm gonna put up a damn good fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody else is too. It's just the only difference is it's YouTube, and it's so everybody's like, oh well, this is immorally wrong and blah 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 and all this other shit. Like, they don't see it that way. You got to think that because just because it's our opinion or we view it in a different way or we're willing to see other people's sides, not everybody's like that. A lot of people are very close-minded and are not very open to the real world because they have no clue and they don't want to know.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, though, I really would want to give the benefit of the doubt to a group of these four. Why would you even sponsor the event if that was their attitude? Like, what do they really have to gain from this? Over maybe just minor publicity,
exposure.
Like
anything's exposure. They view everything and anything as exposure.
But at the same time, you have to think about it this way. If you put your brand behind these 8 finalists, if you will, what does that say about your channel? If you're like, this is content that I think is good content, then some of the viewers are going to think, wow, these are the guys that make it. I wonder what these other, what is the bigger YouTubers' standard for their own videos, and it looks bad on your brand if you pick out shit, which is why I try not to give shout outs on my channel or let people post on my channel, because once they are on my channel, they're on it forever. If they do something stupid in 6 months or a year from now, it'll look badly upon me eventually, be like, oh, you stuck your neck out for this guy and now you look pretty stupid. So I don't understand why these bigger channels would put their reputation on the line in picking these particular 8 finalists here.
To me, it just shows their ability to pick quality, because their quality is shit as well. And it just shows that they have no fucking taste. And unless you're a big YouTuber, or you follow some of these people on Twitter, unless they're another big YouTuber or a buddy of theirs, they ain't liking their video, even if it's good, even if it's tweeted at them and it's good. No, they ain't doing it unless you got a certain number of subs. That's the way a lot of them get. They get to a certain size, and they think they can only like a certain size YouTuber's video. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, Jugs, you're even meaner than me. Jugs, you're cooler than I am.
I was going to say, and not only that, by liking somebody else's content, you're in a sense directing your subscribers to that person and possibly taking away some of the cut from your own good. Like,
and a lot of them.
People were going back to, as you guys were talking about before, people who do this for a living, I don't ever want to send my money potentially somewhere else.
And a lot of them think that way.
Even if it's good content. I mean, that was part of the whole, I fly planes and jerk off on Chatterbait versus Raw Instinct. I come back and did one video and it got so much hate that I decided to stop doing it again. That was that whole controversy. It was all about bigger YouTuber doesn't want to like a video from smaller YouTuber because then his traffic will go to smaller YouTuber. That was that whole big uproar or whatever it was.
And that still goes on. They all do that, and you can tell by just following them all on Twitter and seeing what their activity is, and that's just the way they are. That's the way they think, and that's their mindset, and that's what they've realized. And they don't, no matter how much they fucking tell you in a video, they don't do it because it's a hobby. Period. Like, I'm just sorry. Once you get past a certain point, some of those people, unless they've got a real job outside, they're not doing it for a hobby. Straight up, they don't. You can tell by the quality they put out. You can tell by the way they talk in their videos. It's just, I don't know. To me, doing these competitions and watching these competitions just shows the way people are, and a lot of them are shitheads.
So it seems, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but we're under the impression that these four joined onto this event for personal publicity, but sabotaged it essentially somehow, or someone did, and we basically got a shit event that they see. The thing is, like Schwantz, it's interesting that you feel that way. They obviously don't, because they voted these people in, right? That's why, like, I'm seeing a disconnect between all of our different opinions here.
No, there's a definite disconnect, because I don't see why you would bring subpar commentary. I see no benefit at all, right? And a lot of this is all just conjecture of what we're actually coming up with. I think most of us can come to the agreement that if there was thousands of videos, those four YouTubers would not be able to watch every single video. So
Correct.
Some type of pre-screening had to happen on the table. Now, who was in charge of that pre-screening? No one knows, right? And like
a retard.
And yeah, maybe it was someone with really poor judgment that was pre-screening. So for all that we know, these four YouTubers got handed 50 channels that all had, maybe not the 50 best videos that were available at that time. I guess, like, my only issue with the event is the lack of disclosure of information, how they were judged, and why there wasn't. The biggest thing is, like Frito said, why there wasn't groups or categories. Like, a YouTube commentator can be so vast nowadays. There's so many different types of commentators and YouTubers that it's hard to objectively judge one person being better than the other. When one person is like an informative channel, they're doing tips and tricks and whatnot, and the other channel is like a comedy channel. They're, giving funny life stories and or whatever. It's so hard to objectively put those two next to each other and then say one's better than the other. If you guys remember back, this is way back in like 2011, Woody did their commentator March Madness or whatever thing, and people had the same issues with that because like Fuzzy Otterballs and some other guy that like did like montages. Like Fuzzy's just really funny, so he got there just by being entertaining. He was just a funny guy. But another dude got really far into the competition just by doing these really cool theater montages, and people were kind of mad because that wasn't like commentating over it, if that makes sense. And so I guess like that's just them creating a brand new contest that they didn't really think through all the way, because there really does need to be divisions or some kind of separation or some type of criteria that they can fairly judge the contestants within the program.
It seems like it got thrown up very quickly, with very little thought into it, and that with these sponsors that are in it, I would almost be willing to bet that it was pre-screened down to, let's just say, if there was 1,000 video submissions, these people like Control Freak or whoever, they had somebody, some intern, watching these videos that has nothing to do with Call of Duty or our community, pre-screen these videos down to a set number. Say if it was 1,000, it was down to 200. And then it was split up between the four people, supposedly judges, and they were given a certain number of videos to watch. And then they chose from their numbers. That would be the most logical thing that they would do if they had that many videos.
See, I'll even go a step further than that. I don't even think a lot of these were pre-screened. Maybe, perhaps, and this is just, my paranoia speaking here. What if they just looked at the Google Analytics for the channel submissions that they got and said, all right, which one of these channels are the fastest growing channels? Which one of them have the best subscriber base?
No way.
It didn't. No, definitely not. Because some of these guys have like 500 subs, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
But what if they have a good, sub to view ratio, lots of comments?
Yeah, nope, they didn't.
No.
Some of these guys' channels are dead, dude.
Yeah.
Some of these guys' channels like barely post.
That's
then,
all right.
Then
why
not?
Retract my previous statement.
There were a couple guys that
why
I
not
saw
Frito?
that submitted videos that were 20,000 plus subscriber channels that, they know what they're doing. They're getting good views, and they didn't pick those guys up. So, there's definitely that wasn't crossing their mind. No.
I just figured I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, no, it was a good idea. I think Jugs might be a bit right with this intern thing. I can definitely see an intern getting this job, and he just sits down, and there's like 1,000 submissions. He takes like the top 50 and deletes the rest. Just like, done. Time to go to lunch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think, if there's sponsors, people with big money in this, they're doing this for their money. Like, Control Freak ain't doing this because out of the goodness of their fucking heart. That doesn't happen this day and age. Yeah. People don't do shit half the time out of the goodness of their heart unless there's a tragedy. Well, this is a Call of Duty contest.
No, I agree that they're obviously trying to do it for exposure and money, but
it's both, right?
I do want to say it's more
a company
money.
Gives donations out and like sponsors a shelter or something, and like the Ford homeless shelter for battered women or whatever, but.
Yeah, yes, for a tax return.
Yeah, but still, you know what I mean? I can't look at a good deed and say you shouldn't do it. I mean,
I'm not saying that. I'd
rather judge it just based on how bad it was, not their intentions.
There's always a reason behind something. And unless you can admit, I mean, the majority of these people do something for some other reason. They don't do it just because of the goodness of the heart. There's very few and far between people nowadays. Like, it's... And maybe I am a little cynical from what I do for a living and what I see, but a lot of people, that's just the way they are. And I'm not saying there's not good people out there, but fucking A, they're hard to find.
We need to call Jugs cynical Jugs. That's what we can call Jugs from now on. I mean, I don't. Yeah, but it still works against that logic because, like, again, why would you have subpar content if that's what you're looking for is money and exposure? Like, exactly. You're gonna bring in the best people in there. So
you would think so, but obviously they didn't.
Yeah.
So right. I mean, there's got to be a reason for it, and so that's part of the reason why I'm going there is because I'm trying to figure it out, trying to logically figure out why you would pick all these subpar people compared to somebody's, like, even Fritos. Like, I didn't watch it, but I watch your content, so I know how you are. You're consistent enough that I would know that if you put out a video submission, it would be a certain way, period. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, but that's so hard for me to say. Like, I told Frito this as well. You can't objectively say anything though until you've seen all the submissions. Right. Like, that's why I'm hesitant to call these videos. They might have been the best 8 within what I have seen. And Frito did link me some videos. He did link me some videos that I saw and that I personally felt were better. But that's my opinion, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's all conjecture. It's all our opinions versus their opinions. Like, my form of entertainment, like just for example, like, I may like a sitcom that you don't like. Right. It's the same with other people. Even if it's an extremely popular TV show doesn't mean you like it. Like, I know a lot of people that thought The Office was funny. I fucking hated it.
You know what though? The Office has good audio quality, dude. I cannot get past some of this shit, dude. The Office at least has writers, at least has star act. You know what I mean? At least has some little shining hope. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying with some of these top 8. But again, like, I think Trademark Trent has the best defense to what I'm saying. That we don't know what the confined standards were, what it was whittled down to. But I kind of want to steer the conversation now away from this because I think we've pretty much expounded how terrible this event was. I want to ask you guys now, with what we've learned from how this all went down, how would you improve on another event? What ideas do you have if they were going to do it, if you were going to do it yourself? Whatever, because obviously balls were dropped left and right. Like, somebody fucked up. The intern didn't do his job. The judges laxed on it or didn't care or didn't want to promote content better than their own. Whatever reason it was, things were fucked up. So how would we improve on this?
I think that Trademark's idea of having sort of a categorical contest would probably end up working a lot better than just having the generic YouTube commentator type of bullshit, where my videos per se would probably fall under like entertainment or like funny or comedy, like video game comedy category. Somebody else would be, gameplay commentaries. Somebody else would be real life commentaries, where I think making it more granular in that particular way would definitely help out. A better intern screening the videos would also definitely help out a lot better.
So we all agree there's an intern involved.
Yeah, there's got to be an intern involved somewhere. But making it a little more granular would definitely help. And I think a lot of what's in the guidelines is very wishy-washy about what you can and cannot say. And it's just basically make a video. It would be easier if, like, one of the commentary contests that I was involved with, you had to answer a specific topic. Like round 1 would be, what do you think's the most overpowered gun in Call of Duty history? And then all of the contestants would make a video about what they thought was, the answer to that particular question. That also might help a little bit too. If you kind of have a topic in mind for certain categories, I think that would help as well.
Now, before you guys chime in, I just want to say this. Honestly, I think they did have somewhat of a categorical thing in mind, to be honest. Just looking at the 8 finalists, because each one of them does seem to have a slightly different. There is a few, half of them are kind of like the stale generic ones, but they do have a little bit of a mix as far as I could tell. But maybe that's just me overanalyzing, but I think they were thinking of that a little bit, but they probably did it badly because they judged them against each other.
Yeah, they definitely dropped the ball. I mean, the first guy that I saw, he tried to be funny, but it was god awful. Like, just it was
objectively.
It was the search and destroy match. It was terrible. It was the search and destroy guy. He was horrible. Like, he tried to be funny, and it fell flat, real flat. But so I guess perhaps
Will filled it up. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. He was bad. But I think that you're right. Yeah, there are a little bit of different. To me, they were just all boring. They're all boring fucking commentators. That's what
one way or another.
That's the category I fall them under. Boring fucking commentators. And that's what it is. And I think that having categories, spelled out categories, and having users submit into these spelled out categories, and perhaps having a commentary topic would help. But I mean, the one guy just talked about what's on his channel. Bitch, I don't give a fuck what's on your channel. Entertain me for a couple of seconds, all right?
Wait. Did you watch my video or did you not?
No, well, yours was entertaining, though.
No. My 16-minute rampage about this.
No, I did not. I can't even find it.
Dude, you just basically said exactly what I said. I swear to God. We were like the cadence, the words. We said the same exact thing, dude.
Are you guys gonna kiss now?
Yeah, I think so. We just had a moment.
Please give us a moment. Yeah, you're gonna have to link it to me because unfortunately I couldn't find it on your channel or your second channel. So
it was on TSG. That's why.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'll go look it up then.
Do it later. We're talking now.
Of course.
One of the 16-minute videos I've ever watched that I watched the whole thing and I was entertained the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I normally don't watch that long of videos and stay entertained unless it's, especially when it comes to Call of Duty. Like, I don't know, but for the format, like if they ever did this again, I like the idea of definitely the categories. I 100% agree with giving somebody categories. So
what about maybe the voting or something? Do you have a
the voting would have to change, but I like the idea for the voting is what I like is I'm sure a lot of us have ever, if you don't, or you've at least at one time, you've picked up a Game Informer from GameStop, and they'll have their writers or whatever pick their games or their top 5 games or top 10 games of the month or whatever. And I think that what they should have done with some of these judges, if they were truly watching the videos and judging them, is separately go through these videos, find which ones they like, say a top 10, say a top 20, say a top 8, whatever the fuck, and then compare it to the other people, the other judges, and see where you're at from there, and then go from there. Because if you're going to find truly good content, like out of the 4 of us, if we watch 100 videos for a competition or whatever, we're generally, I would say, percentage-wise, we're going to have at least 2 to 3 that we're going to agree on. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some people that are going to blow us out of the water. It's easier to go from there than it is
having an overlap.
And then instead of just, which I think they did, is if they didn't really have an intern, what they did is they split up the load, because that's the easiest. That's what if they didn't have an intern watching some of these videos to split up the load for them, they split up the load themselves and say, hey, you take these 50 videos, I'll take these 50, you take these 50, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And to me and then they just kind of went with, hey, you pick this many number and I'll pick this many number. You pick this many and I'll pick this many. That's the way I would see that going. I would hope not, but
yeah, I mean, I also think a good idea would be to give a number rating system on a video. So if 3 people watch the same video, one votes like an 8, one votes a 7, one votes a 9, just average that out or whatever it is, and just see what the numbering system is. And I think more spelled out criteria would have helped. Here's what it'll be judged on. You get 5 points for this, 10 points for that, 20 points for audio quality, for which that one guy would get a fucking 0 for.
-2.
And that would have been, that would have been. I think that also would have been at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
To spell out the criteria in terms of points, perhaps. I don't know. Just
ultimately, the best kind of judging, if there was any way to get around it on YouTube, which there isn't, but ultimately the best kind of judging would be for the viewers to judge. You know what I'm saying? You post the videos, and whoever the top 8 is from viewed wise. But you can't do that because like you said, you had some people on there that had 20,000 subs. So
it's not.
You know what I'm saying? But that would ultimately be the best way to determine it, because then it would be out of the quote unquote judge's hands. It's kind of like they do in Idol and all those other shows. They whittle it down to a certain number, and then they let the viewers take the course. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But then it's
that's
a popularity contest again. Then it's just a popularity contest.
Yeah, and I that's why I'm saying, like, that's why it wouldn't work. But that would ultimately, if you could get it to work, which you never would be the best way to judge something. Legitimately and unbiasedly would be the way for it to go. But that won't happen. I mean, not where we're at now in YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
Trent, improve this event. Go.
Oh.
The 2 biggest issues that I saw of the event, first is the vast gap in the guidelines. Like 500 subscriber minimum to 25,000 is that's a huge difference in channel, where your channel is at, right? Like if I look at where my channel was when I was at 25,000 versus where I was at 500 subscribers, like that was 2 years, just vastly different growth. So I think that criteria, they should have done like a newbie pool, which is everyone under 2,000 or whatever subscriber, and from those guys they pick the best, and then they go into like the big hitters, the 2,000 to 25,000 or the 5,000 to 25,000, whatever. Because those people, like I already said before, they must have some semblance or idea of what they're doing on YouTube if they're already at that level. So either split the contest up completely, have like a newbie contest, and then like an established contest, or have a little pull initially, because I think it was really silly. If you look at it, even all the people that you critique the hardest, they're those brand new YouTubers. Like my videos probably sucked as worse than these guys at 500 subscribers, so I'm not gonna just go down that road and just say, man, these guys fucking suck, because I think they might have potential there. And then the second biggest issue is their judging criteria. First of all, they didn't list any specific judging criteria. I think you have to have criteria that you can just like objectively rank, like on a scale of 0 to 10 or 0 to 5, whatever. Things like production quality, things like, your flow and your voice, how unique you are, how entertaining you are. Because if you put those things down and then you actually rank them on a number scale and you add all those numbers up, you get a very rounded perspective of a commentator. You say, okay, well, this person, like the person that you were talking about, the person with low audio, he would obviously get a pretty low score on production value. Okay. There was another kid that I randomly seen his video for. He did fucking like an outline with the the pictures, it was like a search and destroy match. He had 5 pictures for each of the enemies. Anytime an enemy died, he like crossed out their picture. He fucking had like this outline with all the guns. Like, it was a really professional looking layout. And I was like, holy shit, this production quality is awesome. But like, after I started listening to him, like the rest of it, like his flow and his uniqueness, his entertainment value was really low. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you have specific criteria and you rank them on a scale and then you add those numbers together, you get a better idea of who is actually the best commentator in the competition. And then you compare those numbers with each judge, and bam, you should have a pretty good idea of the top 8 that are actually in your competition. That's what I would do differently.
Now, after you said what you said, like, I like the idea of the splitting it into different categories with the size of the channels, and then you pick the winner from the size of those channels, and then those are your final 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a 1 to 2,000, and then you have a 2 to 4, and so on and so on, and then you let them duke it out that way. Because then you never know. Like you said, some of these smaller channels, do have good potential, and maybe they could put out another video and learn from what they did. Or some of these smaller guys get it right off the bat, and they're better than some of the bigger ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be entertaining to see a smaller guy take down a bigger guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. This contest shouldn't be judged on potential. It should be judged on
I agree
content,
with that.
you know? So I understand if a guy with 500 subscribers is like, all right, this guy looks like he's off to a good start and he only has 500. To me, it doesn't matter. I'm not judging a contest based on potential. I'm judging it based on what are you doing right now, and that's pretty much that's what it should be. It shouldn't be, oh well, this guy's nice. He'll have a chance eventually.
Right, but I'm just judging it based upon results. Is all I'm saying. The people that have more than 5,000 subscribers, they clearly. I mean, I know you said like, they're just fucking boring. They must be doing something right.
Oh, they've got so they've got to be engaging some niche audience somehow. That's clearly I'm not in their demographic. So
yeah, well, obviously, but I mean, there's also the idea. God damn it, I just forgot what I was going to say. Motherfucker.
I don't think it's fair to say they're all absolutely terrible, but my point is, and that's why I titled the video, they're average at best. So, like, the good ones are, like, there's so much subjectivity to it, you can't really say, like, you don't belong here, but it's the question of, why is this sort of like the clash of the average Joes rather than, like, why, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no like, impact factor. There was no wow factor. There was no, like, man, his video beat the shit out of mine. No, it was just sort of like, oh, okay, so he kind of just did what everybody else was doing, and that's about it. Like, it's not, I don't know.
Yeah,
when you have a contest like this,
if you're really going to find, let me just say this: if you're really going to find that diamond in the rough, right, that person that just has something so unique and so wow factor that they're just going to blow up, they don't even need this fucking contest. They don't. Like,
no.
If they have something that is that unique and entertaining, they will come out of YouTube some point. Some big YouTuber is going to find them, think their shit's really funny, you know, give them a shout out, whatever. Some, just over time, they're going to grow as people watch it and they really enjoy it if they're really that unique. So I guess.
But I think there's a lot of channels that are exactly what you just said that submitted videos that didn't go up, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the whole point. I think there's a lot of people on that right track, right? You're saying that, like, you're comparing these guys that have incredibly average stuff to the wealth of people that we know didn't get in, who are already on the right track as well. With the people who have these 500 sub channels that won in this contest beat out people who are already doing that, what you just said. See what I'm saying? That's the disconnect that I have with that. I don't have a problem giving a little bit of welfare here and there to channels. That's not a thing I'm against. But when you have a contest that's supposed to be based on, as Jimmy said, creative, original, like, content, there's people who are making jokes and who are, like, giving new tips and new ideas and on these videos that didn't get in, that got beat out to just blah.
You mean they just got beat out to somebody that recorded their gameplay, put it in Vegas, and recorded over it without any editing?
Without production quality, with bad audio quality, or the commentary is just kind of meh. Like, I've seen guys that literally made me laugh that did not get selected, and there's guys that aren't even my taste that I think should have got selected. See what I'm saying? I'm getting out of my own skin here. It's not just my subjective opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's always your subjective opinion. that one person is better than another. That's always subjective.
No. A good critic can step out of that though. Like I can look at it and say I'm predisposed to liking this, so I can see that. But if you look at like, you can break it down objectively. Now, whether you weigh in on it subjectively, that's where that comes in. But when we're talking about things like cadence and flow and speaking ability,
right,
that's like not arguable.
Those things can be broken down objectively. But there's also some things like you just said. I thought someone was funny. Funny humor is very subjective. So that's
Yes, it is. But I agree with Frito's points are that to me, somebody being able to speak properly in their video quality is something that should not be in question. It should not be.
That should be something that's given weight. Absolutely.
Yes, and that's it. There should be a standard for that. And the fact that the majority of those videos don't even meet the majority of people that I've talked to, or the people that I watch videos of, or the people that I listen to or talk to on Twitter, they're not the same standards. Not even close. Not even in the fucking ballpark. You know what I'm saying? They're still sitting on the bench. And I don't know how something like that can pass when they don't even, bro, do you even color correct? Like,
yeah, it's completely unacceptable. And this could have been that, that kind of opportunity for the smaller channel. I mean, for me, I've been doing the same content for a while on YouTube, and then all of a sudden I got recognized by, a bigger channel, and that's when my subscriber growth just started blowing up. I mean, this could have been that getting recognized by a bigger channel for some of these smaller channels that were those diamond in the roughs, that were those unique things. So even though those guys who are unique can, still always blow up later on, this is one of the opportunities that, unfortunately they didn't get. And who knows how many opportunities like this are going to come along for those kind of diamond in the rough sort of channels,
And that's why I think people are so upset, is exactly that. Like, this seemed like the type of thing that you put your heart and soul into, and then to see, like, the prom queen isn't even hot or something like that. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's not fair. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's some people out there that I'm sure put tons of time and effort into their videos. They didn't just hit record and took one take for their fucking video, which some of them seem like they did. And then to get not selected or not even be recognized, and then you're sitting there thinking, why even bother? Why even put the time and the effort in if no matter how much time and effort I put in, I don't get recognized, versus somebody else who doesn't even remotely appear that they put in any effort in. Like they literally just picked up a recorder a week ago and figured out how to work it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was part of the biggest problem with this competition.
It's very discouraging for those who, honestly have good shit, and unfortunately they're just like, well, now what? You know what I mean? It's just like that. No constructive criticism, no feedback, no anything. That to me is the worst part. The one of the reasons why you enter a contest like this is to get that constructive criticism and to make yourself better. And when you see content like this that is selected and yours is not, and you don't have an explanation of why yours was not selected, that just makes it all the more frustrating.
Right. What can I learn from these guys exactly? Like, if I'm going to be beat, I want to be beaten in such a way that I'm like, I can emulate or study.
I want to be blown out of the water. I want to be able to go, I tip my hat to you. You beat the fuck out of me. I am man enough to say that you beat me at the same game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to. It's part of the reason I didn't want to enter, is because there's no way that if I enter something to my standards, and I think my standards are higher than the majority of people's or a lot of people's. Just for me personally, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I try to make my standards a little higher and try to put out what I can. I won't just go with one take if I don't get it right or if I stutter. But that's just the way I am personally. And I know that's subjective to opinion. Some people like to watch videos and hear the person actually just speak normally. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my view on it is to entertain and to get opinions from people and all that other stuff, and not try to bumblefuck over my feet or my tongue as I'm talking, and to show that, you know what I'm saying? And so to put in all that effort, or to try to put in all that effort for a video for a contest, and then see what has come out at the end, makes me extremely happy that I have yet to enter one of these contests, because I would think personally I could have blown those people out of the water, but obviously not. If Frito, if you entered a video and it had no weight whatsoever, that you can't even make the final 8, then I'd hate to see where I was at. I would have been at a 0 out of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10.
You're looking at it objectively, dude, and it didn't happen that way. Like, there's tons of people who made better videos than me that didn't get picked, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
there's no logical scale. Go ahead. That's all I want to say. There's no logical scale to it. Yeah.
I was going to say, back to your question, what can you learn from this particular contest? I think what you can learn is that if you want to be a sponsored commentator, or if you want to be, in the know for some of these things, you kind of have to be bland, be a little bit unoriginal, be afraid to push the envelope a little bit. And I think that in order to be, a commentator that is kind of one of these guys that, gets recognized by, game developers and gets invited to these super secret things, or these, day of release party nonsense, you kind of have to not, rock the boat. You kind of have to toe the line. You kind of have to fall in line with the corporate way that they want, or the image that they want to portray. And unfortunately, we don't do that. And I don't ever want to do that on YouTube, which is why I've gotten multiple offers for partnership for networks. I've turned them all down. Because I want to make videos that I enjoy and the content that I want to put out, not content that I think will get the most amount of views. And Frito, I think that that's what you could learn from this particular thing, is that in order to...
It goes back to me. What the fuck is this?
Well, you asked the question, what can I learn from this contest? And my answer is, in order to be one of these corporate sponsor, I get to go to all of these cool, developer behind the scenes events. You kind of have to be not controversial. You kind of have to be a little bit vanilla, and you kind of have to be just blah.
Yeah, that's not a lesson. You gotta learn to
stroke. You gotta learn to stroke the cock and lick the balls, man.
That's not something you want to learn. That's just, that's selling out. That's my opinion, but
exactly, you have to sell out. That's pretty much what I was getting across. Is that to win a sponsorship like this, you kind of have to sell out, and unfortunately, that's not who we are as commentators.
In these competitions, you don't speak your mind; you speak the company's mind.
Right.
And
I'll agree with that. But I also want to say is that you can learn is that you don't need a competition like that to succeed on YouTube. I mean, there's plenty of people who do speak their mind and who do they push the envelope, and those are some of my favorite YouTubers.
There's a lot of big
they think
YouTubers
outside the box and they do things differently, and they benefit from it.
He's talking about me.
No, he's not.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, that's a great point, is that you don't need this type of contest in order to do what you need to do, because it's not your demographic. And that's the other thing, is that you have to find your niche and almost exploit it. And unfortunately, this was not your niche, or your demographic, rather.
Yeah, and that's my thing, too, is I don't want to exploit anything. I just want to be me. I upload and talk the way I want to talk. I don't talk the way other people think I should talk. If they get on my video and tell me I cuss too much, or they tell me something blah blah blah, whatever, good, nice to have your opinion. If it fucking mattered, I'd give it to you. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
it's good to have constructive criticism and to get feedback.
And I do agree with that. But I get constructive criticism from my friends, and you know what I'm saying. And I'll take constructive criticism, and I'll take it from viewers. When I first started out, I took tons of constructive criticisms because I was still learning what to do. I never thought I was good at it. I still knew I needed to get going, and I still don't think I'm the best at it by any stretch of the means, because I need to work at it to get better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm at the mindset, the same as when you were playing a sport, that I'm never the best. There's always somebody out there to get better that's better than me. And so in order to get better, I have to work hard. I don't expect it to be given to me. But, also I go outside on a daily basis.
But yeah, that's basically what you can learn, is just, unfortunately, this was not your demographic, and that's the way it is sometimes. I mean,
it is what it is.
You can just take it as that you weren't picked because you suck.
Or that too.
I'm just throwing that out there for you to take.
It's more of the fact that it's an injustice to everyone, not me. Like, I don't really care, but
oh, I totally agree there.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many people who have not stale, old, moldy bread type content that should have won. But does anybody have anything to add before we close this thing up?
I'm good. I've said my piece.
I would definitely close by saying, like, the concepts aren't a bad idea. Like, it really is a cool concept. It really is cool for, like, smaller commentators to get noticed through networking through a larger contest or idea like this. Like, that's not a bad thing. And you shouldn't be afraid to try your hand at something like that, just because you might not win, or it might be unfair in the way that they dictate who are the finalists. I still say, like, it's definitely worth it to put yourself out there. You have to take action and do things, try things if you want to succeed. But, that being said, it's not a requirement. There's people out there who have succeeded without these type of events. So.
Yeah, and at the same time, this particular contest, I think that if you weren't going to be in the top 8, realistically, there was no point in entering, because if you don't get any constructive criticism back from your submission on what to improve, what people did like, what people didn't like, then really there's no point in submitting to a particular contest like this particular contest. However, if it's another particular contest where people will give you that feedback in order to make you a better YouTuber, make your channel's content better, then that is definitely an opportunity you should jump at.
I understand the contest part of it if you're going to get feedback, but how many big YouTubers do you know that got big off a contest? I mean, do you know of anybody? Because I don't know of anybody personally. Like, I don't. That's part of it for me too, is because some of these guys are going into this contest, I would imagine, thinking this could be my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Kind of deal. And I don't know of people like that.
It's all subjective too, though.
Yeah, that's subjective. A contest is just a form of networking. It's just like essentially one giant shout out. So how many big
I understand.
YouTubers do I know that have gotten big without shout outs? Zero. Like,
yeah, I understand. I understand that part of the networking and stuff like that. But I would imagine some of them with the 500 subs and stuff are going there thinking this could be their ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine if there's hundreds to thousands of them, somebody's thinking that. Like, that's the way they're thinking. That's the only reason they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be...
Yeah, at the same time, though, it's also free networking. It's networking without having to do anything. Somebody's oh, I'm automatically going to look at your video. All you have to do is do it. Half of the time, networking is getting somebody else to actually enjoy your content and be like, all right, let's agree to do this for each other. In this case, it was kind of like, a cum dumpster. Just fill me up, baby. I'm ready to go.
Oh, God.
And that's what we should end with.
Yeah,
yep,
cum
bye.
dumpster.